Good morning. Good morning. So, everyone who can see this, you probably know that I'm usually one for long statuses and rants, but the particular thought that I had, I didn't want to share it as a status or just a post because I really don't want to offend anyone, especially with today being 9/11 and my thoughts being towards that. But I was up early this morning, and of course, on all your social networking sites, the posts have began, never forget, remember 9/11. And while the lives that were lost, horrible, I knew some people, personally, I just want to know, am I the only person who is dying to forget that day? Because there are some things that have been forever etched in my memory that I don't even want there, just from certain things I had to see and certain things I had to smell and lived it. Some of you lived it from afar, but when those towers fell, I was in school in Manhattan, my freshman year in high school, and I literally had to walk through ground zero to get home. And I remember seeing people's pictures of their families that were on their desks and different files, reading confidential, and then just having to go home and literally endure every channel, having people jumping out of buildings, and it was horrible to have something like that etched in your psyche. And then, the worst thing was having to get on a ferry and not be paying attention to where I was supposed to be going. And I walk into a sea of body bags because they had nowhere else to put people's bodies and had to transport them to Staten Island and put them on an ice rink. And the only way they could get mass quantities of bodies were to put them on the bottom of the ferry. These were things that people had to endure. And while those lives lost, I never forgotten the ones known and unknown to me. But the truth still remains, that is a day that I wish that I can forget. That is a time in my life I wish that I can forget, because it didn't just end once those buildings fell. You had to go to school and have to endure the smells of rotting bodies in the air, because think of all the bodies that were still left and unfound. And this went on for months. And we had to endure that, having to go from just riding on your subway and your boat to having people with armed army rifles. That became the norm for most people that I know in life, and that's not normal. And that was something that was going on when I was 14, 15? And 14 years later, we're still dealing with those effects. I felt like I've grown up with some of the people and the young kids who lost their parents because they've turned into adults, and it's a sad, sad thing. So, my heart and my prayers go out, and it's still a very, very somber day and a touchy moment. But I'm just gonna say a shay for all the ones who lost their lives, and pray that they've made it up there with their ancestors and their loved ones who've gone on before them. And I'm just gonna go about the day, because while all of you are trying to remember, that is just one time that I just wish that I could so forget. But it is a beautiful day today, and as it should be, the sun is out, and that's beautiful. So I just hope you guys are all having a good Friday and a happy Friday. And again, to those of you who lost loved ones, my prayers are forever with you. Enjoy.